Anne Radcliffe, in her essay on the supernatural in poetry, states that terror and horror are so far opposite that the first expands the soul and awakens the faculties to a high degree of life, the other contracts, freezes, and nearly annihilates them. What I found in Silent Hill 2 is a mixture of both, but most ardently, horror. Silent Hill 2 is the scariest, most harrowing game I have ever played, and that is not an exaggeration. It quite literally gave me nightmares, and the horror it presents, not in jump scares, stalker enemies, nor enemies at all, which are a little lackluster in terms of variety, but in its tension and uncanny nature, felt like it was truly aimed at me, targeting my fears. As a note, I will say that I am not very good at horror games, in the manner that I'm a certified scaredy cat. Oh, I don't like it. I hate. Why am I doing this to myself? Fucking what? Okay. Yep. Okay. I don't like it. But I still adore horror games, as I find them tantalizingly fun. Usually, however, I would enjoy them from a safe distance, and have done so ever since PewDiePie played Amnesia. But upon one fateful Christmas, a close friend bought me the Resident Evil 4 remake, and it became my gateway drug into survival horror. Thus far, I've only really kept within the Resident Evil franchise, save such games as Soma and Signalis, which I wish to make videos on soon, but that changed when I bought the PS Plus extra tier and downloaded the Silent Hill 2 remake. Now, I never ended up finishing the game, half because I'm a pussy, and half because my subscription ran out, but I can imagine many of you will know at what point I did end up stopping. Yes, the Toluca prison. In fact, the very beginning after meeting Eddie again. I just couldn't continue, and I need to talk about why. Also, just before we continue, if you have been enjoying this video and are a writer or a poet, I'm also an editor. So for submission pieces, full-length novels, or even like non-fiction pieces, if you want affordable editing that doesn't get rid of your narrative voice and style, I'm your gal. The link to my website is in the description below. Also, do consider subscribing, please. Okay, that was all very shameless. Anyway, let's continue. Silent Hill 2 is permeated in duality, the other world versus the fog world, and the real world. I believe the other world represents hell, the fog world represents purgatory, and the real world, well, Earth. Heaven, James at least, does not get to see. The way the game transitions between the fog world and the other world is narratively and thematically genius. We know of the circadian rhythm inspiration, that the deepest parts of one's sleep cycle represents the other world, but just narratively, as we play the game, the way we go from other to fog world and vice versa is so uncannily terrifying. What I remember most ardently is the transition from the Woodside to Blue Creek Apartments and back. This is our first descent into the other world, and it has been ingrained on my memory ever since. We start in the dark, consuming Woodside Apartments. It is scary on its own, with corridors like gaping maws, and the ever-present threat the radio makes us constantly aware of. But we weave inside and out. We see Silent Hill outside of the windows. It is daylight. There's a kind of safety to that, knowing we're in danger but also knowing where safety lies. Literally going outside for fresh air in some cases. Then, that is taken from us. We walk through a doorway between the two apartment buildings as if cleaved by some ungodly thing. A barrier we cross, literally. It is emphasised so much how we cross that barrier, something that is also taken from us the longer we play the game. That predictability. Our first look at the other world is nothing short of horrific, and absolutely doused in rust. Or is that blood? Fabric moulds and rots, decaying into something vile and bog-like. The apartments are entirely dark, yet permeated in a thick, sickly orange glow, like blood diluted in water. That safety is gone, as each window, in that uncanny nature that is making me tense just thinking about, is just a black square. There's nothing beyond. When just before we were in the midst of an afternoon in Silent Hill. Where did we go, and what is beyond, save the abyss? Static churns. Yet it was never the actual enemies that scared me. It was the anticipation, the worry, the obliviousness of where they are. Once I see them, all is well, but before that, I am petrified. This transition is truly insane. The whole of Blue Creek unnerves me to absolutely no end, and I can describe it as nothing less than industrial uncanny. Things rust that ought to rot. We descend down, this being a very prominent theme throughout the game, that constant descent, yet the sky remains endless. It is a huge area, but so cleverly interconnected that I practically gasped in relief every time I entered that room and saw the save square, which alone is strange and doused in symbolism. I would also like to take a moment to question room 209, because what the actual fuck even was that? Do we know? I find little in ways of an answer online. It is when we reach the lowest level, finally coming to our first fight with Pyramid Head, that something utterly horrifying happens. I find that nothing can unnerve me more than sound, and sirens distorted and corrupted shrive my soul in fear. So, of course, it would be an utterly disturbing siren that would resound, beckoning Pyramid Head away. Yeah, I hated that. But what I hated more was the disorientation that preceded it. Beyond the door, on the far side of the boss room, is Silent Hill. While we descended, endured horrors beyond comprehension, were literally in hell, we opened the door, and there Silent Hill stands, midday, untouched by the rot. When I say I cannot put into words how utterly disquieted I was by this, I mean it. That transition back to normality, silence, and the strange lack of reaction from James, holy shit. I continued playing, despite Blue Creek alone taking me just shy of 10 hours to complete, half of that being sat in a pause menu, and made it to Brookhaven. The hospital, ah yes, famously a place that is full of rainbows and joy in horror films. Throughout this section, I was constantly aware and in wait for the other world. I thought I was in it for half my exploration, associating that darkness, but oh how wrong I was. I found the hospital, despite the bubble heads, to be more frustrating than anything, and I definitely didn't like it more than Blue Creek. After we did eventually transition to the other world, I was slightly less fazed due to the surprise of it wearing off. Still, looking up and seeing utter abyss where the ceiling should be frightened me. Once more, as above, so below, as James is taken above but seems to be very much below. And once again, the transition from hell to Silent Hill broke every expectation and prediction. I left the hospital, but I was still in the other world, in a deep, foreboding darkness. That lift, once Maria was killed, did it take us up or down? I spent a bit of time in the Silent Hill circles on Reddit during this time, so I knew of a connection between the Toluca prison and the Historical Society. Each time I neared it, I became anxious, as constantly was I told it was the scariest part of the game. Eventually, as once more we slowly transitioned from Other to Fogworld, I realised I was headed in that direction. It does not take long to dive into the horror here. On the far wall of the Society building sits a doorway that leads down, an impossible length. It's almost cosmic, the incomprehensibility of depth and level in this game. As I mentioned before, I did not spend much time here. I found Eddie, saved, then quit. There was something about the claustrophobia of the prison, the unknown, the fact that it is a prison, that had me at my limit. I also heard tall tale of a labyrinth not long after. No thanks. The darkness got into me, I think, and I found myself none the braver. I did find that running, having something playing in the background, and turning off the radio helped to calm my nerves, but it was just too much. I am a wuss, and I'm tired of pretending I'm not. Maybe one day I will return to this game, and I'm half determined to finish it just to prove that I can, but holy shit, it is unkind to players as easily frightened as I am. Beneviento, big baby, eat your heart out. I would also just like to mention how visceral it is to be warned by other players of a certain area. I posted my experience in Blue Creek to Reddit, and I had countless comments telling me how, sure, it is scary there, but nothing can be more terrifying than the prison. I had people idly describing it to me almost, talking about the absolute darkness that fills the area. I think ignorance is bliss, in a way, for had I not known of the prison, I would never have put such a damning emphasis on it. I wouldn't have looked at the Historical Society on my map, wondering just how it turns into a prison, just when I will get there, and what horrors will await me. This is the same for the other world as a whole. I only knew what it was after I googled it, and it, after Blue Creek, was constantly on my mind. A haunting factor in an already terrifying game. This game doesn't use jump scares as its main source of horror, but atmosphere and tension. It is the perfect example of how video games can allow us to experience a unique kind of horror, something between a horror film and a horror house one can walk through. I still can't believe I was so terrified, claustrophobia actually setting off in my brain. I'm fascinated by this game, and as I said, I would one day love to finish it, but right now, I think I'm good. After all, Resident Evil 9 is on the horizon, and if I've heard right, there's going to be some utter harrowing moments to endure. Thank you for watching this rather shorter video. I also just want to say, at the time of this recording, I have 500 subscribers, which is just so insane to me. I only started this channel at the time of recording about 2 weeks ago, so it means the world to see it grow so swiftly, and for people to actually care about all the random shit that I like rambling about. I will keep uploading as much as I can, with longer videos every week and a half or so. So if you would like to keep an eye on this channel, do consider subscribing. Otherwise, do let me know your favourite horror game in the comments, and I'll see you in the waking world.